Welcome to Monk's Moon Temple. Settle in. Let the noise of the day begin to fade. The light here is soft, the air is still. There is no test, no race, no destination to reach. There is only this space, and a gentle invitation to listen, not with the frantic energy of a student, but with the quiet openness of a friend resting by a slow-moving stream. You have come here carrying things. A tightness in the shoulders from a disagreement left unresolved. A low hum of worry about tomorrow. A flicker of irritation from a crowded room, a sharp word that echoed. We so often feel like a leaf in a storm, tossed by every gust of feeling, believing the storm is outside of us. What if we could find the still point at the center? Not by fighting the wind, but by understanding its nature, and remembering the depth of the tree from which the leaf grew. The teachings that bloomed from the Buddha's insights over 2 millennia ago offer not a shield against life, but a profound understanding of its very texture. They are not about becoming numb, but about becoming so intimately aware of the workings of your own heart and mind that you are no longer captive to them. This is the path of wisdom. It is a path walked not with the feet, but with attention. Tonight, we do not follow a linear map. Wisdom is not a ladder, it is a garden. We will wander its paths, resting at different benches, touching different leaves, listening to different fountains. Each stop is a complete practice in itself, yet each whispers to all the others. We begin not at the gate, but somewhere in the dappled shade. Let's explore the gentle art of reducing desires and expectations. Imagine a deep, clear mountain lake. Its surface is perfectly still, reflecting the sky, the trees, the passing clouds with flawless clarity. This lake is your innate peace. Now, imagine you stand on the shore and begin to throw stones into it. Plink. A desire for a newer car. Plunk. An expectation that your friend must always remember your birthday. Splash. A craving for a different past, a different present. Each stone is a desire, an expectation. It ripples the surface. Throw enough stones, and the water becomes a chaotic mess of intersecting waves. The reflection is shattered. You can no longer see the sky. You only see the disturbance you have created. You look at the churning water and you think, I am troubled. The world is turbulent. But the Buddha's wisdom gently points, the water's nature is to be clear and still. The turbulence is not the water, it is what you have added to it. Our suffering, our emotional chaos, so rarely comes from the events themselves. It comes from the stones we insist on throwing. Our clutch of, I must have this, and our tight fist around, this is how it should be. I remember a winter many years ago. I had saved for a long time to visit a very specific, remote monastery pictured in a book. I imagined the silence, the specific color of the robes, the precise way the dawn light would hit the ancient bells. After a difficult journey, I arrived. It was under renovation. Scaffolding covered the facade. The sound was not of chanting, but of hammers. My mind immediately began to throw stones. Disappointment. Frustration. A sense of being cheated. The reality was simply a monastery under repair. But my expectation, my stone, had created a turbulent lake of resentment. It took me hours of sitting there, watching the workers, to see my own foolishness. I had come seeking peace, but had brought my own war in the form of a picture-perfect desire. When I finally let the expectation go, I heard something beautiful. The workers were humming an old folk tune together as they worked. That was the real chant. That was the lesson. The peace was always there, I had just been rippling the water too violently to see it. Reducing desire doesn't mean not wanting anything. It means seeing the stone in your hand before you throw it, and asking, is this worth disturbing my peace for? It means holding wishes lightly, like a bird in your palm, not in a clenched cage. When you stop demanding that life conform to your personal brochure, you begin to see the profound beauty of the actual, unedited journey. The pressure eases. The emotional waves settle. And in that stillness, you see your own reflection, and the reflection of the world, with a clarity that feels like coming home. If this gentle way of seeing resonates with you, a way to lower the stones and calm the water, consider subscribing to Monk's Moon Temple. It is a simple act, like choosing to sit by the still lake more often. By subscribing, you ensure this quiet space remains a part of your journey. Now, let's wander to another part of the garden. Now, let us consider the quiet practice of meditation. Think of your mind as a vast, ancient attic. Over a lifetime, it has been filled with treasures, yes, but also with dust, old furniture draped in sheets, boxes of forgotten memories, and piles of daily clutter. The air is thick, and the light from the single window is weak, struggling to illuminate the corners. You stumble around in the semi-darkness, barking your shin on regrets, getting lost in labyrinths of worry. Meditation is not about emptying this attic. It is about becoming the gentle custodian who, every day, goes up, opens the windows wide, and lets in the fresh air and the full, clear light of the sun. It is the systematic practice of coming home to the awareness that exists before the clutter, the space in which all the clutter appears. In the stillness of Buddhism, meditation is the direct path to knowing that space. There are many ways to let in the light. You can simply sit and watch the breath. Not control it, just feel it. The inhale, the exhale. The rising, the falling. This is like polishing that one window until it is crystal clear. Thoughts will come. The dust motes dancing in the new light. You don't fight them, you don't follow them. You just notice, a thought about work, and softly return to the breath. This is mindfulness meditation. It cleans the lens of perception. Then there is the practice of metta, or loving kindness. You sit, and you gently direct well wishes, like beams of warm light. You start with yourself. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. You feel the resistance sometimes, the awkwardness. You shine the light anyway. Then you bring to mind a benefactor, a friend, a neutral person, a difficult person, and finally all beings. You are not forcing a feeling, you are planting a seed of intention in the soil of your heart. You are airing out the attic of the heart, replacing stale air with a fresh breeze of goodwill. Another way is concentration. You focus on a single object, a candle flame, a simple sound, a peaceful image. Each time the mind wanders, and it will, 1,000 times. You guide it back, with infinite patience. This is like training a puppy, not with anger, but with consistent, gentle redirection. It builds the muscle of attention, so you are not pulled into every emotional current that passes by. The beauty is in the regularity, not the duration. 5 minutes of true window opening is worth more than an hour of sitting in tense ambition. I knew a man in a bustling city who felt perpetually fractured. He claimed he had no time. I suggested he try elevator meditation. In the morning, in his office building elevator, instead of checking his phone, he would simply feel his feet on the floor for the 20-second ascent. Just 20 seconds of arriving in his body. It became an anchor. That tiny ritual of light slowly changed his entire day. He began to find other 20-second pockets, waiting for coffee to brew, at a red light. His attic didn't magically become empty, but it was no longer dark. He could navigate it without so much fear. Regular meditation rewires your relationship with emotion. When anger arises, instead of being the anger, there is a part of you that notices, anger is here. That small space of noticing is the open window. It is the difference between being in a storm and watching a storm from a sheltered porch. The storm may still be powerful, but you are not drenched and terrified. You are witnessing it. And in that witnessing, you find your freedom to choose how, or even if, to respond. And what of impermanence? The understanding that all things flow and change. There is a story, not from a book, but from a backyard. A neighbor of mine, an elderly woman named Alara, had the most magnificent rose garden. She tended it with a devotion that was a quiet love song. One spring, a late frost came. We all watched from our windows, hearts sinking. The next morning, the garden was a scene of devastation. Blooms that were just about to open were blackened, hanging limply. I went over, words of sympathy ready. I found her already there, kneeling. But she was not crying. She had a small, soft smile. She pointed to a single, perfect rosebud that had been sheltered by a leaf. "Look," she said. "This one made it. And see here." She brushed away some frost from a stem. The new growth is already pushing through underneath. It's all just change. In that moment, she was a master of the Buddhist teaching of anicca, impermanence. She did not resist what had happened. She did not cling to the image of the garden from the day before. She was fully present with the garden as it was now, and in doing so, she saw not only loss, but the undeniable, persistent force of life continuing. She saw the entire cycle in one glance. We suffer because we live as if we are carving our lives into granite. We want our happiness to be permanent, our health to be permanent, our relationships to be static, frozen in a perfect moment. But life is not granite, it is water. It is a river. You cannot hold a handful of river and say, "This is my water." It flows through your fingers even as you claim it. The teaching of impermanence is not a cold, nihilistic statement. It is the warm, liberating truth that allows us to truly love the river. When you deeply know that everything changes. Your feelings, your circumstances, your body, the people around you, a weight lifts. The tight fist of clinging relaxes. You stop trying to nail the present moment to the wall to keep it from leaving. You begin to hold it like you would hold a bird, with enough care to appreciate its beauty, but with enough looseness to let it fly when it is time. Apply this to an emotion. A wave of sadness comes. If you believe it is a permanent state, that, "I am a sad person," you fall into it, you drown in it. But if you know it is a passing weather pattern in the sky of your mind, you can say, "This is sadness. It is here now. It was not here yesterday. It will not be here forever." You give it space. You let it be, and in letting it be, you allow it to pass. The same for joy. Don't clutch at it, fearing its end. Savor it completely, precisely because it is fleeting. That is what makes it precious. Elara's garden was more beautiful to me after the frost than ever before. Because it was real. It was life, in all its fragile, resilient, ever-changing truth. To embrace impermanence is to finally stop arguing with reality. And in that ceasefire, you find a peace that is not dependent on things staying the same, but is able to flow gracefully with the endless, beautiful change. True wisdom, that quiet light within, let's cultivate it together. Information is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. We live in an age of immense information, a roaring cataract of data points, opinions, and facts. But wisdom is different. It is quieter, slower, deeper. In the context of Buddhism, wisdom, panna, is not an accumulation of knowledge, but a clear, penetrating understanding of the nature of things. Of impermanence, of the constructed nature of the self, of the cause and effect of suffering and happiness. It is the light by which we see our emotional landscape not as a chaotic jungle, but as a knowable, navigable terrain. Wisdom is what turns an experience from a wound into a teacher. It is the process of cooking raw ingredients into nourishing food. A painful event is the raw ingredient. Reacting with blind anger or sorrow is like eating it raw. It's difficult, it causes distress. Reflection, understanding, seeing your own part in it, seeing the impermanence of it, is the cooking process. What emerges is wisdom, a lesson learned, compassion kindled, resilience built. How do we cultivate this inner chef? First, we must taste our experiences fully. Don't just swallow life whole. When something happens, good or bad, pause. Reflect. Ask gentle questions. Why did this affect me so? What old story is this touching? What can I learn here? Keep a journal not as a log of events, but as a dialogue with your own understanding. Second, seek the wisdom of others, especially those who have walked the path before. Read the ancient texts, yes, but also listen to the old stories, the parables, the poetry. Listen to people you admire. Ask, how did you get through your difficult time? Wisdom is often passed on in stories, not bullet points. Third, and most importantly, apply the lens of the Buddha's core insights to your direct experience. Don't just believe all things are impermanent. Test it. Watch your morning coffee go from hot to cold. Watch a feeling of irritation arise and pass. Watch a favorite sweater wear thin. See it for yourself. This is experiential wisdom. It becomes yours, bone deep. I recall a young executive who came to the temple, frayed by constant competition. He was brilliant with information, but his life was bitter. I didn't give him advice. I gave him a packet of seeds and a small, poor-quality pot with hardened soil. Grow this, I said. He was baffled but humored me. For weeks, he struggled. The seeds wouldn't sprout. He read about soil pH, watering schedules, sunlight, all information. Finally, frustrated, he simply broke up the hard soil with his fingers, feeling its deadness. He went to the woods and collected rich, dark humus. He mixed it in, tenderly. He stopped following a schedule and just checked the soil's moisture daily. He paid attention. One morning, a green shoot appeared. His joy was profound, childish. He said, "I learned more from this stubborn plant than from any business book." I asked, "What did you learn?" He thought. "I learned that force doesn't work. That you have to understand the conditions. That growth requires patience and the right foundation. And that the result is a kind of quiet joy that beating a rival never gives you." That was wisdom beginning to sprout in him. He had moved from forcing an outcome to understanding a process. He began to lead his team the same way, not with pressure, but with attention to conditions. His emotional storms at work calmed considerably. Wisdom stabilizes your emotions because it gives context. A failure is not a verdict, it's data. An insult is not a truth. It's a reflection of the other person's weather. Wisdom is the deep root system that keeps the tree steady when the winds of emotion blow. Cultivate it slowly, patiently. Let it grow. To know oneself, this is where our journey turns inward. There is a wonderful, ancient instruction, know thyself. It sounds simple. But we often confuse knowing our preferences, I like coffee, I dislike traffic, with knowing ourselves. Self-awareness in the Buddhist sense is more like being a compassionate scientist of your own inner universe. It is the practice of turning the light of attention inward to observe the mechanics of your mind, the triggers, the patterns, the hidden motivations, the stories you silently tell yourself all day long. Without self-awareness, you are a puppet. A rude email pulls the string of anger, and you jerk into a reactive reply. A forgotten appointment pulls the string of insecurity, and you perform a drama of unworthiness. You believe you are your reactions. Self-awareness is the moment you notice the strings. You see the email, feel the heat of anger rise, and a new, quiet voice says, "Ah. The anger string has been pulled." That noticing is a space of freedom. In that space, you have a choice. How do we develop this? The first and most direct tool is mindfulness meditation, which we've spoken of. It is the gym for your awareness muscle. The second is honest reflection. At day's end, ask yourself, when did I feel most tense today? What was happening? What story was I telling myself about it? Don't judge the answers. Just collect the data. The third way is courageous, ask for feedback. Ask someone you trust, how do I come across when I'm stressed? Be ready to listen without defense. We all have blind spots. Other people are our mirrors. A personal story. I used to have a quick temper in my youth. A minor inconvenience could set me off. I prided myself on being passionate. Then one day, after I'd snapped at a friend over a trivial mess in our shared space, he said quietly, "You know, you always get like this when you feel things are out of your control. It's not about the mess." His words struck me like a bell. I sat with them. I began to watch. He was right. The trigger wasn't the messy kitchen. It was my feeling of helplessness when my orderly environment was disrupted. Seeing that pattern, the string, was revolutionary. The next time I felt the heat rise at a mess, I could pause and think, "Ah. This is the control string. The mess is just a mess. My feeling is about my need for control." The anger lost half its power instantly. It became something I could work with, not just be victim to. Self-awareness is not self-obsession. It is the opposite. Obsession is being tangled in the strings. Awareness is seeing them clearly, which is the first step to untangling them. As you know yourself better, your fears, your triggers, your hidden desires, you become less mysterious to yourself. And in that self-knowing, you gain a gentle mastery. You are no longer a mystery, and therefore, no longer a menace to yourself. You become your own wise friend, your own gentle guide. Now, let your heart soften with the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is often presented as a list. I am grateful for my health, my family, my home. This is beautiful, but it can sometimes feel like a duty, another item on the wellness checklist. The gratitude found in Buddhist practice is something more radical. It is not just an attitude, it is a way of seeing. It is the deliberate decision to turn your gaze toward what is present, nourishing, and supportive, rather than habitually scanning the horizon for what is missing, threatening, or inadequate. It is the mental equivalent of panning for gold. Your mind's default setting might be to sift through the river silt looking for problems, the black sand. Gratitude is the gentle shake of the pan that lets the black sand wash away and reveals the flecks of gold that were always there. This practice literally rewires your brain from a deficit model to an abundance model. Don't just list things. Feel them. Don't just say, I'm grateful for this cup of tea. Pause. Feel the warmth of the mug in your hands. See the steam rising. Taste the subtle flavor. Acknowledge the sun, the rain, the workers, the journey that brought this leaf to your cup. In that one mindful moment of gratitude for a cup of tea, you have connected with the entire world. You have stepped out of the story of me and my problems, and into the reality of interconnected being. I want to share a story about my grandfather. He was a farmer, a man of few words and hard hands. Every evening, without fail, he would walk to the edge of his field just as the sun was setting. He'd stand there for 5-10 minutes. I asked him once what he was doing. He said, settling accounts. I thought he meant financial ones. He smiled. No. With the day. With the land. He was practicing a deep, wordless gratitude. He was looking at the furrows, the growing plants, the fading light, and simply acknowledging it all. He wasn't listing. He was communing. That silent standing was his prayer of thanks. It grounded him. No matter how hard the day, that ritual brought him back to a foundational sense of enoughness. To practice this, try the evening acknowledgement. Before sleep, instead of reviewing your to-do list or worries, review the day for moments of simple sustenance. The smile from a stranger. The successful completion of a small task. The taste of your meal. The comfort of your bed. Don't just name them. Relive the sensory detail for a second. This practice does not deny life's difficulties. It simply ensures they are not the only guests at the table of your attention. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to resentment and envy. It's hard to burn with jealousy over someone else's car when you are truly, deeply feeling gratitude for the functioning of your own legs that carried you today. This shift in focus is a direct intervention on your emotional state. It generates contentment, which is a quiet, steady joy that does not depend on external circumstances. It is the emotional gold you discover when you consciously wash away the black sand of lack. Can we learn to trust the unfolding? To trust the process itself. We are planners. We want a map, a schedule, a guaranteed outcome. Life, however, is not a project to be managed, it is a mystery to be lived. Trust the process is the surrender to that mystery. It is not passive resignation. It is an active, deep-seated faith that your journey has its own intelligence, even when, especially when, you cannot see the road ahead. Imagine you are a seed. As a seed, you have no conception of a stem, leaves, flowers, fruit. Your entire world is dark, damp soil. If the seed had a human mind, it would panic. This is it. Darkness and pressure forever. I've failed. I should be a tree by now. But the seed doesn't think. It simply follows its innate process. It draws nourishment from the soil it's in. It pushes a tiny root downward, not knowing why, only that it must. It sends a shoot upward, toward a light it cannot comprehend. It trusts its own unfolding. And in time, it becomes what it was always meant to be, a transformation that could never have been predicted from the vantage point of the seed. Your life is that process. The dark, confusing times are the soil. The intuitive pulls you feel, toward a new path, away from an old habit, are the roots and shoots. The wisdom traditions of Buddhism remind us that there is a law of cause and effect, karma, operating with perfect fairness. Your sincere efforts, your wholesome intentions, are like planting good seeds. You must trust that they will bear fruit in their own time and way, which may look nothing like what you imagined. I learned this through a long period of illness in my middle years. I had a clear plan for my teaching, my travels. The illness wiped the slate clean. For months, I could do nothing but lie still and endure. I fought it with every ounce of my will, the seed fighting the soil. It only caused more suffering. Finally, exhausted, I surrendered. I thought, all right. This is the process now. I don't understand it, but I will stop fighting. In that surrender, something shifted. I began to notice small things, the pattern of light on the wall, the sound of rain, the incredible kindness of those who cared for me. My world, which had been about doing, became about being. I was forced to practice everything I had taught about presence, impermanence, and acceptance. When I eventually recovered, I was not the same person. My teaching had a depth of compassion, a patience, a quietness it never had before. The illness was the fertile, dark soil I needed to grow into a wiser, more compassionate version of myself. I had to trust a process that felt like ruin to discover it was actually renovation. To cultivate trust, look back on your own life. See the messy threads. The job you didn't get that led you to a better one, the relationship that ended making space for a truer connection. See how the process has, in fact, been weaving a coherent tapestry all along. Your job is not to control the weaving, but to provide the best quality thread, your integrity, your kindness, your effort, and trust the weaver. This trust brings immense emotional stability. Anxiety is fear of the future process. Regret is a lack of trust in the past process. When you trust the journey, you inhabit the present with a calm heart, knowing you are exactly where you need to be for your own unique unfolding. Let us return, now, to the only place life actually happens, the present moment. The present moment. This is the only place where life is actually happening. The past is a memory, a story told by your mind now. The future is a projection, a fantasy created by your mind now. Yet, we spend most of our lives in these two phantom zones, missing the rich, textured reality right under our noses. We eat a delicious meal while thinking about a work problem, tasting neither. We listen to a loved one while mentally formulating our response, hearing nothing. To focus on the present is to come home to your senses. It is the ultimate act of sanity and kindness to yourself. In Buddhism, this is the heart of mindfulness, sati. Remembering to come back, again and again, to what is true right now. A powerful metaphor. Your life is a breathtaking film, but you are sitting in the theater reading the subtitles of your own thoughts about the film. This scene is too sad. I hope the hero wins. The cinematography could be better. You are so engrossed in the subtitles, your commentary, your judgments, your worries, that you miss the vivid colors, the soaring music, the actors' expressions, the actual story unfolding. Focusing on the present is the conscious decision to look up from the subtitles and immerse yourself in the direct experience of the film. How do we do this? Anchor in the body. The body is always in the present. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the weight of your clothes on your skin. Feel the air moving in and out of your nostrils. When you catch yourself lost in thought, gently return to one of these anchors. It's not about stopping thoughts. It's about changing your relationship to them. See them as subtitles, and choose to look back at the screen. Engage in single tasking. Wash the dishes just to wash the dishes. Feel the warm water, the slipperiness of the soap, the clink of the plates. Walk just to walk. Feel the swing of your legs, the contact of your foot with the earth, the air on your face. You are not walking to get somewhere, you are walking to experience walking. I once led a group on a silent lunch. We ate a simple meal together without speaking. The instruction was to eat as if it were your first and last meal. To notice the colors, the textures, the explosion of flavors. One participant, a busy lawyer, told me later she cried. She said, "I realized I haven't actually tasted my food in 10 years. I've been eating my caseload, my anxieties, my meetings. Today, I just ate an apple. And it was a revelation." She had looked up from the subtitles. The emotional benefit is profound. Anxiety cannot survive long in the pure present. Anxiety is a future-based emotion. Depression often lingers in the past. The present moment, by its nature, is manageable. It is just this breath. Just this sensation. Just this sight. When you anchor there, the huge, overwhelming problems of life often shrink to a series of manageable moments. You find you have the resources to handle this moment. And then the next. And the next. Life becomes a series of present moments, not a burdensome saga. You discover a peace and a vitality that was always available, hiding in plain sight, in the now. To understand suffering, not to fear it, but to know its nature. The Buddha's first and most famous teaching is about suffering, dukkha. It is often misunderstood as a pessimistic declaration that life is suffering. That is not quite it. A more accurate translation of dukkha is unsatisfactoriness, or the inherent difficulty of life. The teaching is not that life is only pain, but that it contains an innate friction. Things don't always go as we wish, we get sick, we lose what we love, we don't get what we want. The revolutionary insight is not the existence of this friction, but its cause. The Buddha taught that suffering arises not from the events themselves, but from our relationship to them. Specifically, from our craving, tanha, for things to be other than they are. We want pleasure to last forever, craving for sensory enjoyment. We want pain to never come, craving for avoidance. We want to be a fixed, permanent, separate self, craving for becoming. Think of it like this: you are walking barefoot. The ground has both smooth paths and sharp stones. The sharp stones are the inevitable pains of life: loss, illness, disappointment. Your craving is the expectation that the path should be only smooth. So, every time you hit a stone, you suffer twice. First from the physical pain of the stone, and second, and more profoundly, from the mental agony of, this shouldn't be happening. Why me? This is awful. The second layer of suffering, the resistance, the protest, is what Buddhism addresses. Understanding this is the key to emotional control. It means you can differentiate between the pain of the stone and the suffering of your reaction to it. The pain is inevitable. The extra suffering is optional. When you truly see that your anger, your despair, your anxiety are not caused by the event, but by your craving for a different event, you gain incredible power. You can't remove all the stones from the path, but you can learn to walk with more awareness, to accept the occasional jab without adding a torrent of mental blame and protest. A story from my own community: a woman lost her small business in an economic downturn. The pain was real: grief, fear, financial strain. That was the stone. But her suffering was magnified by her story: I'm a failure. My life is over. Everyone will laugh at me. This shouldn't have happened to me. She was drowning in the second layer. We talked about the Buddha's teaching. She began to see her thoughts as added suffering. Slowly, she started to separate the two. The business is gone. That is painful. But I am a failure is a story I am adding. It is not the same fact. This separation gave her space to breathe. She stopped fighting the reality of the loss and began to look at what was actually present. She found a part-time job. She discovered she had more free time, which she used to reconnect with an old creative hobby. The path was different, rockier than she'd planned, but by ceasing to argue with it, she found she could walk it. She even found new flowers growing in the cracks she'd never noticed before. Understanding suffering doesn't make you passive. It makes you clear-sighted. You stop wasting emotional energy on the futile protest against what is, and start using that energy to respond skillfully, with compassion and wisdom, to the actual situation in front of you. You trade in the heavy weight of resentment for the light, effective tool of clear response. To understand suffering, not to fear it, but to know its nature. Compassion, karuna, is often confused with pity. Pity is looking down from a place of perceived safety: oh, you poor thing. Compassion is seeing the suffering of another and feeling a resonance in your own heart: this is pain. I know pain. May this pain be relieved. It is a recognition of shared vulnerability. In Buddhism, compassion is one of the two wings, along with wisdom, that carry you to freedom. It is considered absolutely essential, because the illusion of a separate, isolated self is a primary source of suffering. Compassion melts that illusion. True compassion is proactive. It's not just a feeling. It's a movement. It's the inner flinch at another's pain that moves you to offer a glass of water, a kind word, or simply a silent, supportive presence. To cultivate it, start with yourself. This is often the hardest step. We are merciless with our own flaws and failures. Practice speaking to yourself as you would to a dear friend in pain. When you make a mistake, instead of, "You idiot, try, this is hard." It's okay. What can be learned? This is self-compassion, and it is the bedrock. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot offer genuine compassion to others if you are a tyrant to yourself. Then, practice, just like me. When you encounter someone difficult, the rude cashier, the aggressive driver, pause and think, just like me, this person wants to be happy. Just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering. Just like me, this person is acting out of their own pain, confusion, or fear. This simple mental phrase shatters the demonization. It doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it changes your reaction from hatred to a clearer, more sorrowful understanding. It allows you to set a boundary with firmness rather than malice. I remember a man who came to the temple filled with bitter rage toward a business partner who had cheated him. He wanted meditation to destroy his enemy with his mind. I asked him to try a compassion practice for just 1 week. Not to forgive, just to practice. Each day, he was to spend 1 minute wishing for his partner's well-being. He thought it was absurd but agreed. The first days, he grimaced through it. By the end of the week, he reported something surprising. "I didn't feel love for him," he said. "But the tight, burning knot in my chest, it's looser. I still think he's wrong. But I don't feel like I'm being poisoned by my own thoughts anymore." His compassion practice wasn't for the partner, it was for himself. It was draining the poison of resentment from his own system. That is the secret: compassion heals the giver first. Compassion directly regulates emotion by replacing the corrosive acids of anger and hatred with the soothing balm of understanding. It connects you to the wider human experience, making you feel less isolated in your own struggles. It is the ultimate emotional alchemy, turning the lead of your personal resentment into the gold of shared humanity. Start small. Be kind to your own weariness. Wish peace for the impatient person in line. This is how the heart grows strong and wise. What if we could see without judging? Let's explore this. Judgment is the mind's frantic attempt to sort the world into neat boxes: good/bad, right/wrong, success/failure, friend/enemy. It is a survival mechanism, but when left unchecked, it becomes a prison. We judge others, we judge situations, and most cruelly, we judge ourselves. Each judgment is a label we slap onto the living, breathing, complex reality, and then we mistake the label for the truth. Judgment creates separation. It says, "I am here, good, right, successful. You are there, bad, wrong, a failure." This wall of separation is where conflict, loneliness, and inner strife are born. In the stillness of Buddhist practice, we learn to see judgments not as truths, but as thoughts. And we learn to let them pass like clouds in a vast sky, without building a house on them. How do we step back from the judging mind? First, cultivate curiosity. When you feel a judgment arise, "He's so lazy, this is a disaster, I'm so stupid," pause. Don't believe the thought. Get curious. Interesting. My mind just produced a lazy judgment. What's really happening here? Do I have all the information? What might I be missing? Curiosity is the antidote to certainty, and judgment is a form of arrogant certainty. Second, practice seeing the suchness of things. In Zen, this is called tathata. It means seeing a thing just as it is, without the filter of your personal like or dislike. See the rain as rain, not as bad weather ruining my picnic. See the person's behavior as behavior, not as an indictment of their character. This doesn't mean you don't take action. You can still get out of the rain. You can still set boundaries with harmful behavior. But you do so from a place of clear seeing, not from a place of reactive judgment. A story from a friend: she was a teacher, and she had a student who was constantly disruptive, defiant. Her judgment was solid: he's a bad kid. A troublemaker. This judgment fueled her frustration daily. One day, she decided to try dropping the label. She made a conscious effort to just observe him for a week, without the story. She noticed he was always alone at recess. She noticed he flinched at loud noises. She noticed a deep sadness in his eyes when he thought no one was looking. She learned, casually, that his home life was chaotic and unstable. The behavior didn't change immediately, but her emotional reaction did. The bad kid judgment dissolved, replaced by a heart-wrenching understanding of a hurting child. Her compassion arose naturally. She began to offer quiet, non-demanding kindness. A smile, letting him help with a task. The change in their relationship, and in her own daily stress, was profound. The judgment was the wall. Letting it go opened a door. When you avoid judgments, you free up immense emotional energy. You're no longer constantly policing the world and yourself against an impossible standard. You become more receptive, more peaceful, and ironically, more effective. You see what is, and from that clear seeing, wise action can spring. The world becomes less of a courtroom and more of a garden, full of unique, imperfect, and fascinating forms of life, including your own. The practice of letting go, not of love, but of clinging. Attachment is the glue of suffering. It is the mental and emotional clutching, to people, to outcomes, to identities, to possessions. The Buddha taught that attachment, upadana, is one of the key links in the chain that binds us to cyclic dissatisfaction. Letting go is not about becoming cold, indifferent, or unloving. It is about changing the quality of our holding from a desperate clutch to an open palm. Think of holding a handful of sand. If you clutch it tightly, squeezing with fear of losing it, the sand will be forced through the gaps between your fingers. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it flows away, and your hand is left strained and empty. If you instead cradle the sand gently in an open palm, you can hold far more of it, and it rests there comfortably. You can appreciate its texture, its warmth. And if a breeze comes and carries some away, you feel the loss, but your hand is not injured from the clutching. Letting go is learning to keep your palm open. Attachments cause turbulence because they outsource our peace. We say, I will be happy when I get that job, when that person loves me, when I achieve that goal. Our emotional well-being becomes a hostage to conditions outside our control. Letting go is the process of bringing your peace back inside, making it unconditional. How do we practice this? First, identify the clutch. Where in your life do you feel that anxious tightness? Is it around a relationship? A dream for the future? Your reputation? Your physical appearance? Name it. Second, introduce the mantra of the open palm. I enjoy this, but I do not need it for my peace. You can love your partner deeply, but repeat, I enjoy this love, but I do not need it for my peace. This isn't cold, it's actually the foundation of mature, non-needy love. You can work hard for a promotion, but hold the thought, I will do my best, but I do not need it for my peace. I witnessed a powerful lesson in this from an elderly potter. He would spend days shaping a beautiful vase on his wheel, firing it in the kiln with meticulous care. Once, a vase he was particularly proud of cracked audibly in the cooling kiln. I expected devastation. He simply sighed, a soft, accepting sound. He opened the kiln, took out the pieces, and studied the crack. Sometimes the clay has a flaw, or the heat is uneven, he said. It's part of the process. Then he began to grind the pieces into grog, material to add to new clay for texture. The lost vase would give strength and character to future creations. He had not attached his happiness to the perfect outcome of that one pot. His joy was in the entire process, the feel of the clay, the turning of the wheel, the mystery of the fire. Because he held his work with an open palm, failure was just another part of the creative flow, not a personal catastrophe. Letting go of attachments brings immense emotional freedom. Disappointment loses its sting. Change becomes less threatening. You begin to find a deep, unshakable contentment that is not based on what you have, but on who you are, the aware, open space that can hold all of life's experiences without being shattered by any of them. You learn to love without chains, to work without desperation, and to live with a lightness of being that feels like finally coming up for air. The foundation of it all, mindfulness. Let's return to this core practice. We have touched on this throughout, but let us sit with it as its own complete practice. Mindfulness is the foundational skill for everything we've discussed. It is the simple, profound act of paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, without judgment. It is not about achieving a blank mind. It is about becoming intimate with the activity of your mind. Imagine you are sitting by a river, watching the water flow. Your thoughts, feelings, and sensations are like leaves, twigs, and bubbles floating by on the current. The unmindful state is when you see an interesting leaf, a thought, and you jump into the river to grab it. You get swept away by the current, caught in the story of that leaf, forgetting you were ever on the bank. Mindfulness is the practice of staying on the bank. You see the leaf. You note, oh, a thought about work. But you don't jump in. You let it float by. You see an angry, red leaf, a feeling of irritation. You note, irritation is here. You feel its heat, but you stay on the bank, watching it pass. You are the aware space witnessing the flow, not the debris caught in the flow. This changes everything. When you are the witness, you are no longer the victim of every passing thought and emotion. You have a home base, the stable bank of awareness. Formal meditation is like going to the gym to strengthen your staying on the bank muscles. But mindfulness is meant to be lived. You can practice it while brushing your teeth, feeling the bristles, tasting the mint, hearing the sound. You can practice it while listening, truly listening, without preparing your rebuttal. You can practice it in a traffic jam, noticing the tension in your hands on the wheel, the sound of engines, the sky overhead. A simple, original practice. The 10 breaths practice. Anytime you feel overwhelmed, pause. Say to yourself, for the next 10 breaths, nothing else exists. Then, give your full attention to 10 complete inhales and exhales. Feel the air moving in through your nose, filling your lungs, and leaving your body. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back. Just 10 breaths. This is a mini vacation from the story of your life, a direct return to the alive, present moment reality. It is a reset button always available to you. Mindfulness fosters emotional control by creating a gap between stimulus and response. In that gap lies your freedom. It allows you to respond from wisdom instead of reacting from habit. It brings a clarity and a calm that permeates your day, making you less frazzled, more appreciative, and more deeply engaged with the precious, ordinary moments of your one wild and beautiful life. Your breath, this bridge between body and mind. Let's cross it together. The breath is the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, between the mind and the body. It is the one autonomic function we can easily bring under voluntary control. And because of this unique position, it is a master key for regulating our emotional state. When the mind is turbulent, the breath becomes short, shallow, and erratic. When the mind is calm, the breath becomes long, deep, and smooth. The beautiful secret is that this bridge works both ways. By consciously changing the breath, we can directly influence the mind. This is ancient wisdom, known to Buddhist monks, yogis, and mystics for millennia, and now confirmed by modern science. When you slow and deepen the breath, you stimulate the vagus nerve, which is the commander of your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest system. It tells your body to stand down from high alert. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and stress hormones like cortisol decrease. The mind, receiving these signals from the body, has no choice but to begin to calm down. One powerful technique is square breathing or box breathing. Inhale slowly and deeply through your nose for a count of 4. Feel your belly expand. Hold the breath comfortably for a count of 4. Then, exhale slowly and completely through your mouth for a count of 4. Hold the emptiness for a count of 4. Repeat. This creates a symmetrical, grounding rhythm that is highly effective for interrupting panic, anger, or acute anxiety. It's like drawing a calm, stable square with your breath in the chaos of your mind. Another is the sighing breath. When you feel a wave of stress, take a deep, full inhale through your nose, and then let out a long, audible sigh through your mouth, letting your shoulders drop and all tension release with the sound. Do this 2 or 3 times. It's a direct physiological release valve. I taught this to a musician who suffered from crippling stage fright. His hands would shake, his mind would go blank. We practiced a simple pre-performance routine, 3 rounds of square breathing in the wings, focusing only on the count. It gave his frantic mind a single, simple task to latch onto. It grounded him in his body. He reported that it didn't eliminate the nerves, but it contained them, preventing them from spiraling into panic. The breath became his anchor on the stormy sea of performance anxiety. Make breath control your first resort, not your last. Don't wait for a full-blown emotional crisis. Practice when you're already calm, first thing in the morning, or before bed. Build the neural pathway. Then, when a stressful email arrives, or a difficult conversation looms, you can take 3 conscious breaths before you react. Those 3 breaths can be the difference between a reaction you regret and a response you respect. The breath is your ever-present, portable sanctuary. Learn its language, and you gain a gentle, powerful authority over your inner climate. The practice of non-violence, in thought, word, and deed. Non-violence, or ahimsa, is most famously associated with Mahatma Gandhi, but its roots run deep into the soil of Buddhism and Jainism. It is often narrowly understood as not causing physical harm. But its true scope is vast and internal. Ahimsa means non-harming in thought, word, and deed. It is a commitment to minimizing the suffering you cause, both to others and, critically, to yourself. This is profoundly connected to emotional control. Most of our emotional violence is self-inflicted. The harsh inner critic that berates you for a mistake, that is violence. The grudges you nurse, the resentment you rehearse. These are acts of psychic violence that poison your own system long before they affect anyone else. Ahimsa invites you to lay down these weapons. Start with your self-talk. Listen to the tone of your inner voice. Is it a kind coach or a brutal drill sergeant? When you notice cruel self-judgment, consciously soften it. Change, you always mess up, to, that didn't go as planned. What can I learn? This is the practice of internal ahimsa. You are creating a safe, non-violent inner environment for yourself to grow. Then, extend it to your speech. Before speaking, especially in conflict, run your words through a simple filter. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? This threefold test, inspired by ancient wisdom, can prevent a torrent of harmful speech that creates emotional fallout for everyone involved. In action, it means choosing not to retaliate when provoked, not to escalate a conflict, but to seek de-escalation and understanding. This isn't weakness, it is immense strength. It is the strength of the deep ocean that absorbs the storm without becoming the storm. I recall a community dispute over a shared garden space. 2 neighbors were at an impasse, their communication reduced to terse notes and glares. I suggested a simple ahimsa exercise to one of them. For 1 week, do not speak or act against the other person. Instead, perform one small, anonymous act of care for the shared space. Water a plant that looks dry, pick up a piece of litter, without any need for credit or recognition. He was skeptical but tried it. He found weeding a patch they both used. He fixed a loose latch on the gate. He said the anger began to feel hollow, silly, as he was actively caring for the very thing they were fighting over. The energy shifted. The other neighbor, noticing the improvements, eventually approached him with less hostility. The conflict didn't magically vanish, but the violent energy did, creating space for a civil conversation. The practice of non-harming action had disarmed his own heart first. Practicing ahimsa brings profound inner peace. When you cease the war within yourself and declare a truce with the world, a deep calm settles in. You are no longer spending energy on attack or defense. That energy becomes available for creation, for connection, for joy. Your emotions become clearer, less reactive, because they are not fueled by the low-grade burn of inner or outer hostility. You become a sanctuary of peace in a turbulent world, and that sanctuary starts with your very next thought. The practice of non-violence, in thought, word, and deed. Detachment, Vairagya, is one of the most misunderstood concepts. It does not mean indifference, apathy, or a cold withdrawal from life. The true meaning of detachment is non-clinging. It is the ability to be fully engaged in life, to love deeply, to work passionately, to enjoy pleasures, but without the secret belief that these things are the ultimate source of your happiness or identity. It is the understanding that you are the conscious experiencer of life, not the things you experience. A beautiful metaphor: you are the sky. Thoughts, feelings, relationships, jobs, possessions, these are the weather. Sun, clouds, rain, storms, beautiful sunsets. Detachment is knowing you are the vast, open, unchanging sky. You can fully appreciate a spectacular sunset, a joyful experience, without believing you are the sunset, and thus falling into despair when it fades. You can observe a raging storm, a difficult experience, without believing you are the storm. The sky holds it all, is affected by none of it permanently, and remains itself. Clinging is when the sky mistakenly identifies itself with a particular cloud formation. I am that cumulus cloud. If it drifts away, I will die. This is the root of our anxiety, our possessiveness, our fear of loss. To practice detachment, practice appreciation without ownership. Enjoy your meal without needing it to be the best meal ever. Enjoy a conversation without needing the other person to always agree with you. Work on a project without your self-worth being tied to its success or failure. This is a subtle but profound shift in orientation. I learned this from a master calligrapher. He would spend hours creating a stunning piece of art with a single character. The brushstrokes were alive, confident, beautiful. Once the ink was dry, he would often take the paper, fold it, and place it in a drawer, sometimes never to look at it again. I asked if he wasn't attached to his beautiful creations. He said, the beauty was in the doing, in the moment the brush touched the paper. The paper is just paper. The ink is just ink. If I cling to the paper, I become afraid to make the next stroke, for fear of ruining it. I am not a paper maker. I am a brushstroke maker. My joy is in the act, not the artifact. He was detached from the outcome, which allowed him to be fully, fearlessly engaged in the process. His emotional state was thus serene and focused, not anxious and results-oriented. In daily life, practice mental letting go at the end of activities. When you finish a work task, mentally release it. When you leave a social gathering, mentally release it. Don't carry the mental residue into the next moment. This creates emotional freshness. Detachment leads not to emptiness, but to a lightness of being. It allows you to love more freely, because your love is not a demand for security. It allows you to work more effectively, because your work is not a desperate plea for validation. You engage with life from a place of abundance, the sky-like abundance of your own awareness, rather than from a place of lack and need. That quiet place within, inner peace. Let's find the path there. Inner peace is not the absence of noise or challenge. It is the presence of a deep, quiet harmony within yourself, regardless of the noise or challenge. It is the still point at the center of the turning world. Many seek it in external conditions, a quiet room, a peaceful vacation, or resolved conflict. But true inner peace is an inside job. It is the natural state when the mind is not at war with itself or with what is. The Buddha taught that peace, Santi, is found through the cessation of craving and aversion. When you stop pulling things toward you and pushing things away, what remains is a profound, unshakable quiet. This peace is not bland, it is vibrant, alive, and capable of containing the full spectrum of life's experiences without being disturbed. To seek it, you must stop seeking it outside. Turn your search inward. The practices we've discussed, mindfulness, meditation, compassion, letting go, are all paths up the same mountain to this peak of inner peace. Create daily rituals of inner return. It could be 5 minutes of silence sitting in the morning. It could be a walk in nature without headphones. It could be journaling to empty the mind of its chatter. It is any activity where you consciously disconnect from the outer world's demands and reconnect with your own being. Guard your peace. Be mindful of what you allow into your mental and sensory space. Constant news consumption, toxic relationships, frantic busyness, these are thieves of peace. Learn to say no to what drains you and yes to what nourishes you. This is not selfish, it is essential maintenance for your inner sanctuary. A story of inner peace found in an unlikely place. A friend was a paramedic, his life a cacophony of sirens, trauma, and urgency. He felt he was losing his center. He began a simple practice. After every call, before moving to the next, he would take 60 seconds. Sitting in the passenger seat, he would close his eyes, feel his feet on the floor, take 3 deep breaths, and mentally say, "That is done. I am here now." This 60-second ritual was his portal back to his inner peace. It prevented the chaos of one call from bleeding into the next, and more importantly, from bleeding into him. He said it saved his sanity and his capacity for compassion. He found that his peace wasn't somewhere else, in a quiet room, it was always accessible in the 60-second space he consciously created. Inner peace is your birthright and your refuge. It is the source of true strength, clear thinking, and genuine happiness. When you cultivate it, you stop being a weather vane spun by every external wind. You become a mountain, deeply rooted, serene amidst the storms and sunshine alike. Your emotions become like weather on the mountain. They pass through, sometimes dramatic, but they do not change the fundamental nature of the mountain. Seek this inner mountain. Dwell there. And from that high, peaceful place, you will see your life, and all its passing trials, with a perspective of timeless grace. The beauty of simplicity, less clutter, more clarity. Simplicity is not about poverty or deprivation. It is about clarity, intention, and the removal of clutter, both external and internal. In a world that shouts, more, the path of simplicity whispers, enough. It is a radical act of sanity. Buddhist monks embrace voluntary simplicity as a direct support for their spiritual life, as it removes distractions and reduces desires. For us in the modern world, embracing simplicity is a powerful way to reduce stress and create space for what truly matters. Think of your mind as a clear pond. Every unnecessary possession, every overbooked commitment, every digital distraction is a pebble thrown into the pond. The ripples intersect, churning the water, making it muddy and opaque. Simplicity is the conscious decision to stop throwing pebbles, and to even begin removing some, so the water can become still and clear again. In that clarity, you can see your own reflection, your true needs and values, with perfect sharpness. Start with your physical environment. Declutter a drawer, a shelf, a room. Let go of things you do not use or love. Notice the feeling of space and calm that follows. It is not just aesthetic, it is psychological. A cluttered environment reflects and reinforces a cluttered mind. Simplify your schedule. Audit your commitments. Which are life-giving? Which are life-draining? Learn the sacred power of no. Protect your time for rest, reflection, and authentic connection. Simplify your digital life. Designate tech-free zones or times. Curate your social media feeds to include only what inspires and educates, not what incites envy or anger. The constant barrage of information is a major source of mental clutter and anxiety. Simplify your consumption. Eat simpler, nourishing foods. Wear clothes that are comfortable and make you feel like yourself. Reduce impulse buys. Ask, do I need this, or is this an attempt to fill an emotional void? Simplicity fosters mindfulness in consumption. I knew a family who felt perpetually overwhelmed, two busy careers, children's activities, a large house full of stuff. They decided to experiment with Project Enough for 1 month. They paused all non-essential shopping. They canceled several recurring commitments. They had device-free evenings. The first week was hard, filled with withdrawal fidgets. But by the third week, something shifted. They reported more conversation, more laughter, more relaxed meals. The children started building elaborate forts with blankets instead of asking for screen time. The parents found time to read again. They discovered that their constant busyness and acquisition had been a barrier, not a bridge, to the connection and peace they actually craved. They didn't become ascetics, but they permanently adopted a simpler, more intentional rhythm. Their emotional baseline became noticeably calmer, less frazzled. Embracing simplicity creates emotional breathing room. When you are not managing a vast inventory of stuff and commitments, your mental energy is freed. That energy can then be directed toward presence, creativity, and deep relationships. You discover that joy is not in the density of your possessions or schedule, but in the depth of your experiences. You move from a life of complication to a life of communion. With yourself, with others, and with the simple, profound miracle of being alive. How we see shapes what we see. Let's cultivate a positive way of seeing. A positive mindset is not about plastering a fake smile over genuine pain or denying life's difficulties. That is spiritual bypassing, and it is fragile. The positive mindset rooted in wisdom is a resilient, grounded optimism that comes from understanding how your mind works. It is the deliberate cultivation of mental habits that lean toward hope, learning, and opportunity, because you know that your thoughts shape your emotional reality and, to a large extent, your experience of the world. The Buddha taught that, with our thoughts, we make the world. This is not magical thinking, it is psychological fact. A person who consistently thinks, I am capable, I can learn, challenges are opportunities, will have a profoundly different emotional and life experience than someone who thinks, I'm a failure, the world is against me, nothing ever works out. Both mindsets will find evidence to support their belief. Your mindset is the filter through which you perceive reality. To cultivate a positive mindset, start by monitoring your self-talk. Catch the negative, catastrophic, or self-deprecating thoughts. Don't fight them, just label them. Ah, there's the "I can't do anything right" story. Then, consciously offer a kinder, more balanced alternative. I made a mistake on this one thing. I can fix it and learn from it. Practice benefit finding. In any challenging situation, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How might this make me stronger or wiser? Is there a hidden opportunity here? This isn't about pretending it's not hard, it's about actively searching for the potential growth, which is always present. Surround yourself with positive influences, people, books, media that inspire and uplift you. Your mind is permeable. What you feed it matters. Use gratitude, as we've discussed, as a daily tool to tilt your brain's bias toward the positive. It's like strength training for your optimism muscle. A story of mindset shift. A woman who had been laid off from a long-held career was drowning in negativity. My life is over. No one will hire me at my age. I've wasted my years. Her suffering was intense. A counselor encouraged her to simply reframe one thought per day. Instead of, "No one will hire me," she tried, "My experience is valuable in ways a new company might need." Instead of, "I've wasted my years," she tried, "I have decades of proven skills and stability to offer." This tiny shift in language began to open new neural pathways. She started to network from a place of offering value, not begging for a job. She landed a role that was actually a better fit than her old one. She later said, "The job didn't change my life. Changing my mind about the job loss is what changed my life." Her positive mindset wasn't a denial of the difficulty, it was a strategic tool for navigating it with resilience and hope. A positive mindset is a form of emotional armor. It doesn't stop the arrows of life from coming, but it prevents them from poisoning your system. It allows you to meet adversity with resourcefulness rather than resignation, and to appreciate joy without the shadow of fear that it will be taken away. It is the sun breaking through the clouds of habitual pessimism, illuminating a path forward you couldn't see before. The quiet strength of patience, let's nurture it. Patience, Kanti, is not passive waiting. It is active endurance with a peaceful heart. It is the wisdom to understand and accept that things unfold in their own time, seeds grow, wounds heal, skills develop, people change, and that your agitation does not speed up the process, it only poisons your experience of the present moment. In Buddhism, patience is one of the perfections, paramithas. Essential for enlightenment, because it is the antidote to the anger and frustration that arise when reality doesn't conform to our personal timetable. Impatience is a form of violence against the present. It says, "Now is not good enough. I want the next thing, the resolved thing, the better thing." It keeps you in a state of low-grade stress and dissatisfaction. Patience is the deep breath that allows you to settle into the now, to find the value and the lesson in the waiting itself. To develop patience, first, reframe waiting as abiding. You are not helplessly waiting in line, you are simply abiding there, present with your breath, observing the world around you. This small shift in perspective transforms a frustrating delay into a miniature meditation. Second, practice with small things. Consciously choose the longer line at the grocery store. Drive in the slow lane. Let someone finish their sentence completely before you respond. These are patience push-ups. Third, study nature. Watch a tree. It does not strain to grow. It simply gathers sun and rain, season after season, and grows effortlessly, in its perfect time. Let nature's rhythm teach you. A personal anecdote on patience: I once undertook a long, silent retreat in the mountains. Part of the practice was to walk meditation very, very slowly. Each step was to take a full minute. Lifting the heel, shifting the weight, placing the foot down, all with microscopic attention. For the first days, it was agonizing. My mind screamed with impatience. This is pointless. We're not getting anywhere. But as I persisted, something cracked open. I began to notice the incredible complexity of balance, the subtle play of muscles, the feel of different parts of my foot touching the earth. I noticed tiny insects on the path, the gradations of light and shadow, the sound of my own heartbeat. I was not going anywhere, and yet, I was discovering a universe in a single step. My impatience had been blinding me to the profound richness of the journey itself. That experience became a touchstone. Now, when I feel impatience rising in traffic or in a slow-moving project, I remember the walking meditation. I remember that the goal is not just the destination, but the quality of awareness I bring to each moment of the journey. Patience, I learned, is the doorway to a deeper kind of perception. Cultivating patience smooths the sharp edges of daily life. It reduces stress hormones and fosters a sense of inner spaciousness. It improves relationships, as people feel heard and not rushed. It allows you to work steadily toward long-term goals without burnout. Patience is the quiet, powerful understanding that you are part of a larger, slower rhythm than the frantic pace of your thoughts. It is the gift of peaceful presence you give to yourself and to the world. And change, the only constant. Can we learn to embrace it? Change is the only constant. This cliché is so familiar we've become numb to its revolutionary truth. We know it intellectually, but we live as if stability is the norm and change is an intruder. Buddhism places impermanence, anicca, at the very heart of its teachings. To embrace change is not just to accept it grudgingly, it is to align yourself with the fundamental nature of reality. Resistance to change is the source of immense suffering. Flowing with it is the source of resilience and peace. Think of yourself as a sailor. You cannot control the wind, change. You can only adjust your sails, your attitude and actions. A foolish sailor curses the changing wind, tries to hold a rigid course, and is eventually capsized. A wise sailor feels the shift, trims the sails, adjusts the tiller, and uses the new wind to move forward, even if in a slightly different direction. Embracing change is seamanship for the soul. To embrace change, first, name the resistance. When a change occurs, a move, a job loss, a shift in a relationship, notice your internal protest. This isn't fair. This shouldn't be happening. Just naming it weakens its power. Second, look for the hidden invitation. Every change, even painful loss, contains an invitation to grow in a new way. The end of a job invites you to reassess your skills and passions. The end of a relationship invites you to deepen your relationship with yourself. Ask, what is this change asking of me? What new skill, what new perspective might it be forcing me to develop? Third, practice, beginner's mind, Shoshin. Approach new circumstances not with the fear of an expert who has everything to lose, but with the curiosity of a beginner who has everything to learn. This mindset turns anxiety into adventure. I watched a community of elders gracefully embrace one of the hardest changes, the transition from independent living to a supportive community. One woman, a former teacher, was particularly vibrant. While others lamented the loss of their homes, she said, "I've had many homes. This is my new classroom." She started a weekly storytelling group, sharing her life lessons. She learned to use a tablet to connect with former students. She didn't deny the loss, but she chose to focus on the new possibilities for connection and contribution that this change offered. Her embrace of change was active and creative. She became a beacon of resilience, showing everyone that identity and purpose are not tied to a specific house, but to the adaptable spirit within. Her emotional well-being was remarkable. She experienced sadness, but not despair. She felt nostalgia, but not crippling regret. Embracing change builds emotional anti-fragility, the quality of becoming stronger through volatility. It teaches you that your core self is not your circumstances, your roles, or even your body. Your core self is the aware, adaptable consciousness that can witness and navigate all these changes. When you stop fighting the current of life and learn to swim with it, you discover a strength and a fluidity you never knew you had. You move from fear of the unknown to a trusting participation in the endless, creative unfolding of life itself. Finally, the radiant practice of loving kindness, sending goodwill to all beings. We spoke of compassion, karuna, which is the response to suffering. Loving kindness, metta, is its radiant cousin. It is the unconditional wish for happiness and well-being for oneself and all beings. It is not dependent on anyone being a certain way. It is a practice of generating a warm, benevolent energy from the heart and directing it outward, without exclusion. Metta meditation is a specific, powerful practice. You start by offering these wishes to yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. This is crucial. You cannot genuinely wish for others what you cannot wish for yourself. Then, you extend it sequentially to a benefactor/mentor, a dear friend, a neutral person, like a checkout clerk you see regularly, a difficult person. This is the practice's great challenge, and finally to all beings everywhere, without distinction. The magic of metta is that it softens the heart's boundaries. The me versus you dichotomy begins to dissolve. You start to feel a sense of commonality, of shared desire for happiness. This has a direct, calming effect on emotions like anger, resentment, and ill will. It's hard to stay furious at someone when you are actively, even if artificially at first, wishing for their well-being. A powerful, original way to practice metta in daily life is the silent blessing practice. As you go about your day, silently offer a simple blessing to people you encounter. See a stressed parent with a child. May you be at ease. See an angry driver. May you be happy. See a lonely-looking person in a cafe. May you be connected. You don't say it out loud, you just think it. This turns mundane interactions into a continuous, invisible stream of goodwill. It transforms your inner environment from one of judgment and separation to one of warmth and connection. I taught this to a man who had a deep, years-long feud with his brother over an inheritance. They hadn't spoken in a decade. The bitterness was a constant ache. I asked him to try the metta practice for just 1 month, focusing on his brother in the difficult person stage. He was to say the phrases for 5 minutes each day. For weeks, he said it felt hollow, even hypocritical. But he persisted. Then, he reported a dream. In the dream, he and his brother were boys again, building a fort together. He woke up with a feeling of piercing sadness, not anger. The metta had bypassed his rational arguments and touched the old love beneath the grievance. He didn't immediately call his brother, but the hatred was gone, replaced by a sorrowful longing. The emotional poison had been neutralized. Eventually, this shift led to a tentative, and later a full, reconciliation. The practice didn't change his brother, it changed his heart, which changed everything. Practicing loving kindness is like building an inner furnace of goodwill. When the cold winds of conflict or hatred blow, you have a source of warmth within. It protects you from being emotionally frozen by others' negativity. It makes you emotionally resilient, generous, and light. Your heart becomes a place of refuge, first for yourself, and by extension, for everyone you meet. And now, the most important step, integration. How to weave all this into your daily life? We have wandered through many parts of the garden. But a garden visited once is just a pleasant memory. A garden tended daily becomes a part of you, a source of continual nourishment. The final tip, the one that makes all the others live and breathe, is integration. This is the practice of weaving these threads of wisdom into the very fabric of your daily life, so they are not separate, spiritual practices, but the natural way you move through the world. Integration means that mindfulness is not just a morning sit. It's how you drink your afternoon tea. Compassion is not just a meditation, it's your tone of voice when you're tired. Patience is not just for traffic jams, it's for the slow progress of your own growth. Letting go is not just for big losses, it's for releasing the minor irritations before they pile up. Create tiny, seamless rituals. Let your morning breath be a 3-breath check-in. Let your commute be an opportunity to practice non-judgment toward other drivers. Let your lunch be a gratitude pause. Let a moment of frustration be a cue for a sighing breath. Let the end of your workday be a mental ritual of detachment. These are the stitches that sew the robe of wisdom onto your everyday existence. A story of integration, a busy nurse, whose days were a whirlwind of urgency and human pain, felt her spiritual practice was completely separate from her work. She was kind, but burned out. She decided to integrate one thing, mindful hand washing. In her line of work, she washed her hands dozens of times a day. She made each hand washing a 10-second mindfulness bell. She would feel the temperature of the water, the slipperiness of the soap, the movement of her hands. She would use it as a moment to let go of the previous patient's story and arrive freshly for the next. This tiny, integrated practice became a lifeline. It created dozens of tiny resets throughout her day. She said it didn't reduce the workload, but it completely changed her experience of it. She felt more present, less cumulative stress, and found her compassion was more sustainable. She had integrated mindfulness into an action she was already doing, and it transformed her emotional resilience. Integration is the art of making wisdom ordinary. When these practices become as natural as breathing, you don't have to do Buddhism. You simply live from a place of awareness, compassion, and peace. Your life itself becomes the meditation, the teaching, and the expression of wisdom. The separation between practice and life dissolves, and you find that every moment, no matter how mundane, is an opportunity to awaken. You have been a beautiful, patient companion on this long wander through the garden of heart and mind. We have sat on many benches, under different trees, by different streams. Each tip, each story, is a seed. You don't need to plant them all at once. Take one that resonated most deeply with you today. Plant it in the soil of your daily life. Water it with a little attention each day. Be patient. Watch it grow. This is not the end of a video. This is the beginning of your own, unique, quiet revolution from within. The tools are here. The path, as the Buddha said, is to be walked. Walk it gently. Walk it with kindness toward yourself. The destination is not somewhere else. It is a deeper, truer, more peaceful arrival in the life you are already living. Thank you for spending this time in Monk's Moon Temple. If this space has been a refuge for you, a place of quiet learning, you can carry a piece of it with you. By subscribing, you ensure this temple gate remains open for you, whenever you need to return for a moment of stillness, a word of wisdom, or simply the sound of a voice reminding you of your own innate peace. It is a simple click, but it can be an anchor in the stream of your days. Subscribe to Monk's Moon Temple. Tend your inner garden. And may you walk through this world with a heart that is light, a mind that is clear, and a spirit that is at home, everywhere. Go in peace. Until we meet again.